You heard about the chopper, I think? The chopper. No, oh, that goes back to the vet. Remember the vet? Corvette Stingray, 454, 4-barrel Super Glide transmission. Got her in Toronto. Brought her back home. Oh, man, what an animal. Couldn't go, no, I know. Back to Gander, where I was living at the time from Toronto. 1,800 road miles. Did the trip in 13 and a half hours, including a 5-hour ferry ride. I scrapped, right? I took the engine, 454 4-barrel, Super Glide transmission, and put it in the Yami. Remember the Yami? My son, now that could go. A Yamaha snowmobile with a 454, that could go. I was up on back of Gambo Pond doing 790 miles an hour. I knows that because the cop clocked me. He couldn't stop me, though, because I was operating what we call an off-road vehicle. He never liked me after that. But see, now the problem with the Yami and the vet was friction. You know about friction, do you? Friction is like this. You got two water slides, okay? Now, one water slide is twisty and turny, and got no water. You got bolts stuck up to the bottom of it everywhere, and he's lined off with sandpaper. Now, compare that one, now, to another one. He's 10 degrees off vertical. He's 100 feet long, and there's water going down over that now, say about 30 gallons a second, and you're drawing back in a big old slingshot and let go. Chances are you're going to go faster over that one than you will over the twisty-turny one. Why? Because of friction. Right on. And I got a lot of reason to be concerned about friction, boys, because I'm addicted. Oh, yeah, Kentucky Fried Chicken. If I goes too long without Kentucky Fried, I got to have it liquefied and pumped straight into my veins. And the fact that the Kentucky Fried Chicken shack is in Gander, about 40 miles away from where I'm living in Glovertown, is reason to want to close up the gap a bit. Then I seen it at the air show in Gander. You knows about the air show, do you? The air show is where 2,000 or 3,000 people stands around on the ground, gawking at a half-dozen jet fighter pilots, see how close they can come to killing themselves. And they all goes home disappointed then when they don't. My son, when she went over, it's like a light went on my head, eh? Jet fighter. I looks at that and says, how fast would I get my chicken, I wonder? But I priced them, eh? Safe to say you're not going to haul the cash out of your back pocket tomorrow or nothing and go buy one. So I focuses on the next piece of high technology at the air show. The helicopter. Now what do you got going on? You got two things going on. You got to go up and you got to go forward. Now anything I puts the 454 in is going to go forward on her exhaust alone. As regards going up, you needs a prop. And then you need some sort of housing to wrap around it. And I had that. The old 59 Fargo, buddy. Down in the garden. Bit rusty and Grolian, but solid enough. I was the best part of the summer putting that together. Oh, yes, my sonny boy, you got to know stuff like center of gravity and aerodynamics. Eh? Center of gravity is like this. It means if you got 1,000 pounds of 454 engine up front, you got to have 1,000 pounds of ballast in the pan of the truck. You know, buckets of nuts and bolts and bits of scrap railway iron and copper fittings, whatever you got thrown in the back, eh, boy? And the center of gravity ought to come right up through the center of her where your seat is. And then you need a prop shaft. Well, I had that. High performance, high gear ratio, high deal. The rear end of the Corvette Stingray. Woo! And she didn't come high enough, to clear the roof of the cab. So I had to put on my 2 mag rims for spacers. Now, if you're going to try this at home, make sure you got a haircut. And then I had to come up with a prop. You think that's the easy part, don't you? Yes, boy, you got to know what you're doing, because no ordinary prop is going to do it, see? No ordinary prop is going to do it because it spins so fast. You're not going out and carve one out of a birch junk or nothing like that, I'll tell you right now. Life is like that. You're looking at something all year long. You never knows what it could be used for. My son, that snowplow went up and down the road a good dozen times last winter. Wing plows. 12 feet long, about yay wide each. What a lovely set of wind scoops. Thank God Department of Highways is good for something, huh? I'm not saying where I got them. But she was looking like a pretty handy helicopter, buddy, when I fitted them onto them mag rims. My sonny boy, what an animal. See, boy, no. I was fairly uncertain as to what was going to happen when I got the whole rig going, eh? So I lashed her down to the picket fence with about 100 yards of nylon rope, reeved through the rear end 4 or 5 times, eh, boy? And then I turned her on. I started her up. My son, what a beautiful sound. My son, mirror muffler, 2 10-inch exhaust pipes, knocked 4 or 5 gulls out of the air. First thing, smack, oh, they hit the ground. Lovely. My son, I suppose I should have warned NASA or the government or something. Let them know what I was doing. Because I had her up to about 8,000 RPM when I popped the clutch. Oh, yeah. And I always did get first and third mixed up on that old standard transmission. You heard about Star Trek, did you? Remember Star Trek? Remember the part in Star Trek where he goes from nothing to warp factor 10 like that? To down? Same thing. Only thing is, I went straight up. I was flattened out like a nipper on a windshield. My sonny boy, I went from 6 feet to 2 inches flat just like that. Me, my son, I'm going to tell you, my arsehole come right up my throat. I had to glutch to make me underwear go down over me eyeballs. And if it wasn't for the fact I got my chest muscles all built up here, oh man, I never would have been able to pick my arm off the seat and shift that shifter back down in first and slow her down a bit, oh man. And when I looked out, I'd come away with 2 links of picket fence and the wife's clothesline pole and all there's dozen sets of brass ears stapled onto the clothesline. And thank God the wife is a D cup, because every one of them was acting like a parachute and slowing me down. You seen that movie, Twister? My son, tornadoes got nothing on what this devil of a machine picked up, my son. Shovels and birch chunks and dogs and chimney bricks and mortar, my son, and shingles, and that all going around and around and around and then sucked off the ground. And then she fired out her ballast. 5-gallon bucket, my son, gone here. Bits of copper pipe and railway iron and bits of cable gone around. All around and around and around. And my son, Mose Harvey, seen it. And he jumped up on the pan of his truck and started screeching about the dreaded pain coming to all the sinners amongst us. And the cow I sucked up over in Glovertown dropped down in the pan of his truck in Gambo, and he drove us singing out, "Praise the Lord." And Leander Ackerman up in Wesleyville, 45 mile off, oh man, he called in on the open line show and says, "Bill, 'tis a cross between the space shuttle and the blender." Now boys, look. 'Tis one thing to be going along, dawdling along, towing a dirty big anchor. But when the rope bust, you never shot forward, I know. I come very close. I was doing better than the speed of sound. I knows that because I couldn't hear nothing. I was almost getting up to the speed of light. I knows that because I couldn't see nothing. I knows I wasn't so fast at the speed of smell, though, because I knows I did a dirty big load in me pants. And my sonny boy, I'm going to tell you, go. When I figured I was handy to the chicken shack, I took my foot off the accelerator, shoved her in reverse, and my son popped the clutch again. Well, my sonny boy, look, they got a big old clear cut up behind Gander, behind the chicken shack now. And it wasn't the Cornerbrook Pulp and Paper Company that did it. If it wasn't for the 3,500 or 4,000 trees that I made 4-inch junks out of, I wouldn't have slowed down at all. I strolls into Kentucky Fried, orders a snack pack with the coleslaw. I wasn't there 5 minutes, oh man, when guess who shows up? Mr. Town Cop bursts in, he says, "Who's that helicopter outside?" Now, do they know it was mine? Would have been foolish, as I attracted a slight bit of attention getting there, right? So I says, "You want the coleslaw?" But that only diverted him for 30 seconds because he eats like a gull, eh? He says, "You're under arrest." I said, "What for?" He didn't know, eh? So I feeds him a little bit of information. "Helicopter?" "Yes, right on," he says. "For operating a helicopter without license and insurance." "Oh," he says, "that's not a helicopter, old man. That's my 59 Fargo pickup." He says, "Oh, is it now?" "All right," he says. "You're still under arrest. What for?" He says, "For operating your 59 Fargo pickup without license and insurance." And I says to him, I says, "The reason that haven't got license and insurance is because it is primarily an off-road vehicle." And he had to let me go on a technicality.